Good morning, Southern California. This is Marty Halfon, and you're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. You know, the word out on the street is whether it was the debates that happened at the Reagan Library just recently, or this Thursday when the feds didn't raise interest rates. The question is, what is really going on in our economy? How much higher can these home prices go? And where is it all going? I keep talking about the potential of us being in a potential bubble because prices keep going up and up and up. But who knows? And, trying to get a pulse on what's going on in this marketplace is really difficult. And one of the big things is if you're a home buyer, new home buyer, just getting into the market or selling and trying to move up, one of the key importance factors that you have to deal with is financing. And I had an opportunity last year to meet a gentleman from the Bank of America. His name is Franco Terango, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and he happens to be with us this morning. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, Marty. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for taking the time early this morning to get up and talk to my listeners. I want you to give, if you can, take a minute, because you have a really very interesting background. Share with my listeners a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how your role is with Bank of America, because you kind of handle the Southern California or Southern West part of the California marketplace here, correct?
That's correct.
So if you could tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So Franco Terango, I've been with Bank of America for nearly 30 years. In fact, December will be my 30-year anniversary.
Wow, that's amazing.
Literally grew up as a teller within the consumer bank, originated loans as a mortgage professional, mortgage loan officer, managed a few offices, worked in the consumer bank. Along the way here, was a regional manager within the consumer bank. Have worked all over the country. I was born right outside Washington, D.C. in Northern Virginia, but ran the Mid-Atlantic market for Bank of America prior to the merger, and came out 7 years ago to Los Angeles, which I'm proud to call home, with my family, my wife of 25 years and my 4 children, and have worked in this market over the last 7 years, and we dealing primarily with residential mortgage, and working in conjunction with our broader bank, whether it's a consumer bank, commercial bankers, Merrill Lynch, working in conjunction with our partners, and just trying to make the financial lives of our customers better.
Well, the interesting thing is 7 years ago, you came out right in 2008 or so, right, where we were in kind of a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it was a
tough time to come
into a challenging market.
Yes, absolutely.
To walk into.
Right.
And came into the market knowing that it was challenging, quite honestly. But what a phenomenal market to walk into from the standpoint of the ability to help consumers through the crisis and really get to the state that we're in today, and really creating the dream of home ownership for not only our customers, but for the American people, and specifically here in the Southwest and in Los Angeles.
Right. Well, in coming from, I guess the Virginia marketplace, a very different real estate market from a value aspect. It must have been an interesting kind of, as everyone always says, you come to the California marketplace, it's like a little bit of a culture shock of how expensive and what you get comparative to Virginia or D.C. or Maryland or some of those places, which sounds like that's where your marketplace was for some time.
Yeah. The D.C. market, you had a high penetration, an incredible amount of diversity, from low to mod through a large jumbo market in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. It was virtually recession-proof, with changes in the government and lobbyists, and so it wasn't a terrible culture shock for coming into California. Though I will tell you, everybody tells you it's expensive, and it's much more expensive than anybody could possibly tell you. That being said, the virtues of California outweigh that, and you understand when you live here and it becomes your home and part of your life, why you want to live here and why homes appreciate at the values that they do because of, not only the terrific opportunities we have here, but also the lifestyle that we have here that, trumps, I would say, any part of this country and perhaps world.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And I think that's part of living in the California market is this lifestyle that we all get to enjoy. Let me ask you a question, because this was been kind of a conversation, we were all anticipating, the feds to potentially raise interest rates this Thursday, and they didn't. And were you surprised? I mean, being kind of, you're on the inside trade of the banking world, but the question comes to so many of us is how long, the feds can keep these interest rates, this low. I mean, obviously, as a home buyer, it's fantastic for us, and it must be great for the banking world because you're able to get people to qualify for homes and get them into homes because they actually have these great programs, I guess, that B of A, Bank of America does have right now.
Well, to answer your first question, I guess, was I surprised? I really ceased being surprised or even guessing. I was educated as an economist, and as an economist, you have all these predictive tools. I would say post-crisis, Marty, I've very rarely been right on which way the rates would go. I've been fairly confident that rates would have gone up way before now,
right.
and I continue to say or feel personally that directionally that's where it would go. Being fairly well read on this, I would say that it seems to almost always be 50-50 and going into where a lot of folks are saying the Fed would go today. I think it was a 50-50 bet. I think that there are still concerns by the Fed, and you listen to the write-up. Globally, there's concerns. I think there's great strengths in our economy, but I would anticipate, like I keep telling my team, that at some point it's going to happen. I've just stopped saying that it's going to be imminent.
When it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Though I think one thing I would say for the listeners is that I'm not overly concerned with the rate environment, and maybe I've gotten more comfortable with it. That the feeling and I think the long-term outlook on rates is they will incrementally move, and because the Fed makes a move doesn't necessarily mean that long-term mortgage rates are going to move.
Right.
And we've seen the exact opposite at times. So those are more short-term rates, and depending on where the market goes, almost as an organism, where it decides to go will ultimately dictate rates. That all being said, we're at historically low rates, and Marty, you and I have been in this business a very long time. There was a time where I originated loans and got my own home loan, a double-digit rate environment.
Right.
And so I think that there's also, from a purchase perspective, a view. The affordability piece that you bring up is critically important. But when a family wants to move into a home or an individual wants to move into a home, they tailor that based upon, one, the affordability and what they can afford based upon the rate environment. But it is much more of a personal decision, at that point, more than it is a rate decision in this market. But I got to say, rates being as low as they are and will continue to be, even if they incrementally move up, it's a great time to buy.
Well, let me tell you, I know. I mean, I remember in the late 70s when I first got into real estate, $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes, $500,000 homes were a lot of money back then, and quite often it was the concern about interest rates because back then they were in their 7s, 8s, 9s. And, today, the question always comes up because so many people are working, a husband and wife are both working jobs. And the question comes up, how do we afford these payments? How do we, taxes, insurance, lifestyle, and so forth? I think to some extent, it's a blessing in disguise with these low interest rates because it's allowing people to qualify based upon income and based upon a 2.5%, 3.5%, 4.5% interest rate. where someone can get in with, 10% down, 20% down, even though home prices are at historical highs too as well. The interest rates allow them to continue to participate in the purchase of a home. And with that being said, let me take a quick station break. This is Marty Halfon. You're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. We have Franco Terango from Bank of America on the line with us. We'll be right back. And again, you can always reach me, Marty Halfon, at 310-344-4465. We'll be right back. Good morning, Southern California. This is Marty Halfon. You're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. And this morning, we're very lucky to have a very smart man who can educate us all, Franco Terango from Bank of America. And we're talking about home loans. And Franco, I was just saying, it is really a great opportunity to be able to get into the home market right now. And, whether it's Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Diego, and you and I had a chance to spend a little time a couple months ago back in San Diego. And, the homes down in San Diego comparative to Los Angeles, big price difference. Carlsbad, Encinitas, and places like that, where homes are, beautiful homes that are in the $300 price per square foot, because here in Los Angeles, we've really transitioned into that kind of analytical cost factor. Homes are now being looked at $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 a foot, $1,500 a foot, even condos. So it's amazing that to buy a home under $1 million with 20% down, these low interest rates really are phenomenal for these home buyers, whether it's a new home buyer or not. Can you tell us a little bit about what Bank of America is doing to help people get into this marketplace and some of the great programs you guys have?
Thanks, Marty. I agree. I agree with you 100%, by the way. I think, having this sustained rate environment has been incredible for home buyers and in the industry as a whole, in the housing industry as a whole. Couple things I would say, almost stepping back. There's several things that come to mind in home buying and in the thoughts around home buying. One is preparation. I mean, being prepared not only from the standpoint of looking at your credit, repairing any credit damage that's been in there, any erroneous information from a credit bureau standpoint is really important. Having documentation on income, assets, liabilities is important in preparing before you get into the loan process, as well as savings. So you talked about down payment, and what we can do from a Bank of America perspective, in having our mortgage professionals, is walk you through that process, help you with that process. We've got a number of different resources online. We've got mortgage professionals out in our financial centers. We've got our 800 number. There's a number of different ways to contact us. We've teamed up with Sal Khan on BetterMoneyHabits.com in helping people look at their overall financial picture and in preparing for the dream of home ownership.
Right.
Once you have that discussion, understand the parameters, what's necessary, understand what you can afford, because at the end of the day, I think a primary message that I would say from a Bank of America perspective, and our goal is one, help you achieve that dream of home ownership, but also the sustainment of staying in that home. How much home can you afford in today as well as long term? Because hearkening back to the crisis, I mean, that was a big problem through the crisis that certainly we're not interested in. We want to make sure that we don't go back to those days.
Well, that's why I love these 15 or 30-year fixed loans that you guys have.
Yeah. So by far, I'd say that from a fixed rate is the most common. We certainly have the adjustable rate loans. If you're planning on being at home a shorter period of time, taking advantage of an adjustable rate loan would make sense. We have jumbo loans. That are incredibly and again historically low rates.
Mm-hmm.
For jumbo loans, we've really capitalized using our portfolio.
Right.
Where we flexed our portfolio around the jumbo, and we talked about L.A., San Diego, Santa Barbara, all the different markets throughout Southern California. You've got a serious jumbo opportunity, and one thing that we have done over the last 7-8 years is really stand up in that area and continue to lend in that area, because there is no secondary market now from a jumbo perspective.
Uh-huh. And what is the tell my listeners what is the new jumbo loan? I mean, what does that mean exactly? It's up to what? A jumbo loan.
So over 417, we go up. It's over 417. It's different markets. You exceed that in the 600 plus range qualifications. So conforming is below those rates. Jumbo are above those rates. Uh-huh. And right now those rates are fairly common, uh-huh. Marty. I mean, they're very similar. It used to be several years ago where jumbo rates were much higher than the conforming rates. From a secondary market perspective, today those rates sometimes are actually even lower than the conforming markets.
But is
today.
Is it 417, or I thought it went up to 629 or something?
629 in certain market areas. So not in every market area is designated by the federal government, uh-huh. as far as that's concerned. But yeah, 625 in like a Los Angeles.
Uh-huh. All right. So really, I mean, going back to what you're saying, the programs you have here right now, because as we know in the Los Angeles area, to get into a house under $1 million is pretty tough. Santa Barbara, Orange County, Newport Beach. I mean, there are certain areas where there's these planned communities. Carlsbad, where they have a lot of planned communities where you can get into a home in the $800 to $1 million price range. But a lot of these areas, we're seeing, especially the Beverly Hills, Brentwoods, Bel Airs, where they're, you're seeing these $6, $7, $8, $10, $15 million homes. Interesting enough, people are either paying all cash or they're getting, a $3 to $4 million loan on these big houses. Your niche market really is what? The middle market, or are you doing? I mean, what's your specialty?
Well,
or your sweet spot?
I was doing some analytics. I mean, we've done a very nice. We've definitely have a sweet spot with the non-conforming uh-huh. Piece, but interestingly enough, we're almost 30 percentile range in low to mod at 30%. Traditional conforming about uh-huh. 30%, and probably more towards the 40% range in the non-conforming. So. Definitely able to pivot depending on the customer's needs, for a wide variety of different products that we offer. But uh-huh. Certainly very strong in the non-conforming space, even from a market share perspective.
Right. So if I was a new home buyer, and let's say I was looking at $1 million house, and I was going to put, do I need to put 10% down? Do I have to put 20% down? I mean, what are the criteria right now? What's the minimum down payment BofA will do for a qualified borrower? So
15% down up to $1 million.
Uh-huh.
In the jumbo space, over $1 million, it's 20%. But we see a lot of customers actually that can afford it putting down 30%, taking advantage of
the low rates,
price breaks in the rates. Within that, so a lot of our customers are voluntarily putting about 30% down.
Well, keeping their payments low because everything else has gotten
right.
so expensive. So with these low
right.
rates, yeah, on $1 million home, if you're putting $300,000 down, you got a $700,000 fixed rate. Even if it's a 15-year fix, like you're saying, some of these adjustables are what, like 5 years fix, and then they become an adjustable rate loan, or a 7-year fix and become an adjustable
Correct.
rate. So the reality, if you know that you're only going to be in this house for 5 to 6 years and you're going to sell, that's a great program because those rates are amazing right now.
Absolutely.
Well,
and what a great opportunity. Again, understanding the value of your home. When you look at that move-up borrower, somebody that actually owns a home today,
right?
That is in the mindset that their home perhaps doesn't have as much value as it truly has today. I would certainly encourage anyone to reach out, talk to a professional, especially in the real estate community, in regards to the value of their home, if they have an interest in being a move-up type of client, because it's certainly in our markets here. the appreciation over the last 5 years has been pretty extraordinary.
Right, and to take advantage of that appreciation with these amazing rates right now, it can't be any better of a time than to make that transition to upgrade and take advantage of these interest rates. This is Marty Halfon. You're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. We're talking about interest rates. We're talking about the fact that the Fed's kept interest rates low. It's allowing home buyers out there like yourselves to get back into the marketplace. This is a great time to do it. We're talking with Franco Terango from Bank of America. We'll be right back. This is Marty Halfon from Rodeo Realty in Beverly Hills, and you can always reach me at 310-344-4465. Or thank you, by the way, for all the emails I've been getting lately. And you can email me those questions again at marty@rodeore.com. We'll be right back. Good morning, Southern California. This is Marty Halfon, and you're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. And we're talking to Franco Terango from Bank of America. Did I get it right this time?
You got it right.
Okay.
Marty.
So let's talk a little bit about, first of all, you and I met through a Tom Ferry organization, which is one of my coaches. And, you know, it's, I think, so important because I always talk about the sense of community. I was raised in Beverly Hills back in the 60s when it really had a sense of community back there. And there are so many communities that have developed over the last 20 years all over California. And communities play such an important part of education because everything kind of develops around communities. And realtors, as you know, play such an important part by helping people sell homes. And it's so important that realtors play their role of educating and teaching their clients, not just to buy a home, but that process. What are your thoughts about working with realtors and lenders? And just share with me some of your ideas.
It's a great question, Marty, and very important to what we do because we're at Bank of America Home Loans. We're mortgage professionals. Our mortgage loan officers can help customers navigate purchasing a home, what's necessary, how much savings, how much down payment is necessary, and help coordinate that. But as, if not more important, is reaching out to a real estate professional that understands the communities that we operate in from an educational standpoint, appreciation standpoint, a wide variety of benefits of working with real estate professionals. And it's absolutely critical. You could do so much now today online and do research online and go through Redfin or Zillow and who are great companies, great research tools. But fundamentally, being able to go out, see homes, understand that community from a health perspective, from an education perspective, all of that is tied in through a real estate professional.
Right.
And so I would encourage, as we have financial centers, throughout Southern California, we have our mortgage loan offices in Southern California. If you don't have a real estate professional, certainly if you're talking to somebody about a home in those financial centers or talking to one of our mortgage professionals, have them connect you with a trusted real estate professional.
Unless you're already working with Marty Halfon, right?
Unless you're already working with Marty.
That's
absolutely.
Right. No, you're 100% right in what you're saying, and it's amazing that B of A has the ability to direct people in that way. But that talks about relationships of what you guys have done in the community.
It's important to us to take care of a customer end to end, Marty. Right. I think that's fundamentally how you have to build not only a business but be part of a community.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's absolutely fundamental to what we do. And because there's so much change in the real estate industry,
right,
having somebody on the mortgage side that understands loans, having somebody on the real estate side and an agent that you can trust on that side to put you in the right home for what you're looking for and understanding your needs, you do that well. It really is achieving that dream.
But I think what's more important, Franco, is to have a relationship with a gentleman like yourself and have a relationship with a bank like Bank of America, because I think that plays an important role as a homeowner. You want to feel safe that your bank or your banker is taking care and has your best interest at hand. And I think that's what you're sharing with us right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a tradition at Bank of America. I mean, we've been here since the beginning of the 1900s, and the community involvement to what you were talking about when you grew up in Beverly Hills. That's what the bank has done. I mean, from funding Walt Disney to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, it's those type of things that really make a difference to customers, to clients, to people's lives.
Well, you take it all for granted. You take it all for granted. So I want to thank you for getting up this morning. I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge, and I would love to have you come back and talk some more if you have some time.
I would be honored.
Because
Marty.
I think it's great to keep you in the loop with my listeners about what's going on and how Bank of America can help everybody.
I would enjoy it. So anytime you invite me back, I'll be here.
Okay. This is Marty Halfon. You're listening to Let's Talk Real Talk. Thank you so much to Bank of America, to Franco Terango, and I hope you have a wonderful morning with your family. Enjoy. Again, this is Marty Halfon. Let's Talk. We're here to answer your questions, to provide you information, to help you get educated on this investment of buying a home. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy this wonderful weather in this place called California that we live in. Bye-bye now.